Yep.
is certainly an interesting one. So
Most
to see
definitely.
how this goes.
All right, we're going to get things kicked off with the first game, best out of 3. And this is the final round for Swiss of day 1 for the Australian National Championships of 2016. So we're going to get things kicked off with Xerneas and Scrafty for Phil. Zarif responds with Cresselia and a Salamence. So interesting. This sort of... we haven't seen a Scrafty on the stream today, and I think I have seen one that someone else was playing with, and it proved to be quite well. And obviously Phil has bought his there. Scrafty's got the Intimidate, which is going to potentially hurt that Salamence. And yeah, so who would you have as the commanding lead? Because at the moment things seem a little bit balanced here. But let's ask the expert here.
I think Phil sort of has a slightly more commanding lead. If he's got the fake out on the Scrafty, he can fake out the Cresselia, get the Geomancy up on Xerneas.
True. Yep. Very true.
Certainly put himself in a favourable position. At the same time, though, he is leaving himself open to either an attack from Salamence. So we do see the fake out onto the Cresselia. Be interested to see if he follows that up with the Geomancy on the Xerneas.
Yep, very true. So we do see the Hyper Voice. Scrafty does live, it does take a ton of damage. And you are right, it goes straight into the Geomancy. Not mucking around, going straight for those stat boosts. And there goes the Power Herb that basically gives it the instant recharge.
So it'll be... It's still... I mean, we see Phil how, he's got a Geomancy Xerneas, but it's still interesting how he's going to tackle that Cresselia, because Cresselia is one of those Pokemon that can take the +2 Moonblast from nearly all builds of Xerneas. So,
yep.
And if he's got a Trick Room here, if he's got an Icy Wind here, this could certainly be problematic for Phil.
Yeah, most definitely. I can definitely see that from the perspective of the Icy Wind. Just getting the speed control under his way. But he also has the option of going for the Tailwind on the Salamence. So Salamence has decided that he wants to go and protect. Then we are going to see the Moonblast that is going to be fired off into that Cresselia slot. It is going to do a decent amount of damage. And then we're going to go see the knockoff, which is going to be the end of Cresselia. Which is, yeah, as I said, very smart play by Phil. He opted to go. And it's also interesting to know that he did reveal that he had a Lumberry on that Cresselia.
It's also interesting to know that the Scrafty moved before the Cresselia, so I wouldn't be surprised to see or to know that Zarif was going for a Trick Room there, trying to take advantage of not only set himself up for the next turn, but to also try and turn the Geomancy speed boost into a liability for Phil.
Yeah, most definitely. So we see Zarif has brought in his Groudon, which is Primal Groudon. So now it just comes a matter down to what Phil's going to do with his Scrafty. It has taken a lot of damage, and obviously the Xerneas is now, got his Geomancy. But we do see the withdrawal of the Salamence here into the Thundurus. So it doesn't like that matchup that he currently has there. Scrafty's also coming back, which is interesting. And he also brings in his Salamence. So there we go. We've got a bit of switches here. It does get the Intimidate off on the Groudon, so if that is a physical Groudon, that is going to slightly hurt him. But yeah, so we do see the Dazzling Gleam as well, and that does a hefty amount. Takes it down to its sash, it looks like. No, it just... Okay, it just survived. It
can do that. It doesn't take as much as people think. If you're assuming timid Xerneas, Modest is a whole other ball game. But certainly smart play from Phil there. He's given Zarif a choice here. He can stop the Xerneas, he can stop the Salamence, but he can't stop both.
Yeah, most definitely. So that's could have fooled me. I was going to sworn that was a sash there. Very lucky on his end. But anyway, so I'd say Phil has got quite a steady lead at the moment. He seems to be playing quite consistently. Definitely going and setting the tone for this match for sure.
So we'll see Mega roll the Salamence here. I wouldn't be surprised for him just to go for an all-out attack here, force Zarif to make a choice to find which one is more of a threat.
So we see the Protect from the Xerneas as well.
Okay, I see what was going on there. The Xerneas is, in probably the bigger threat, and we see him...
Ooh, gets a Parahax.
Well, getting back to that, we see, the Xerneas was the bigger threat there. So he wanted to try and bait the Thunder Wave into the Xerneas, protect the Xerneas, and just get the Hyper Voice off. But as, Zarif, probably saw through that, went straight for the Salamence anyway, in the knowledge that, Groudon would be able to take another Dazzling Gleam and just Fire Punch and finish off the Xerneas. So very smart plays from both guys. Yeah, Zarif a bit lucky with the Thunderwave paralysis, but definitely smart play from him picking the right Pokemon to attack.
Oh, for sure. So we do see the Moonblast come straight into the Groudon slot there. Groudon does take a hefty amount. It's not enough to put it in the KO. We do see the Thunderous go for the Thunderbolt, and Groudon does go for that Fire Punch, going straight for that Xerneas. That's probably going to be enough to get the KO on that. It's going to be interesting to see what the Salamence does here, and it does go for the Hyper Voice. Doesn't get a Parahaxed again, and that picks up the double KO for that, putting Phil again in a commanding lead. 3-1.
He's 3-1 up, but his Salamence is paralysed, and Zarif still has his own Salamence left on the field, so it could be very interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Phil's last Pokemon is. See it with the Groudon here, so he's not going to... It's very interesting here. Zarif's Salamence is already Mega Evolved, so he doesn't have to run the risk of Intimidate. If Phil is running a physical Groudon, though, he is in a bit of a spot of bother here. But, you know, Precipice Blade's not being able to do much Earth Power, so he has to rely on something, you know, like the Fire Punch into Salamance's ridiculously powerful special defense.
Yep, sure.
However, there is a bit of a craze that's been coming through, which has been the special Groudon with Hidden Power Ice.
I have seen that, and I saw it, and I'm like, wow. But, oh, it hangs on
and
with 9
we see
HP.
the Hidden Power Ice.
Oh, no. I wonder how you knew that one, Matt.
I confess that Phil may or may not have spoken to me about his team, but last I heard he was actually running Thunderbolt Groudon. So he's obviously decided to switch things up a little bit.
That almost seemed a little bit too perfect, mate. You set me up hook, line, and sinker. Thought, yeah, I've seen that, and that could be good, but it's never gonna. Oh wait, it happens.
Yes, okay, I confess to prior knowledge. You know, forgive me, fellow commentator, for I have sinned. Yes.
Go! Say your prayers to Arceus like a good boy.
Lord Helix, mate. Lord Helix.
Well, Helix. No, Arceus, man. Arceus, come on, none of this stuff. Oh gosh, but that is interesting. Hidden Power Ice Groudon. That's thinking outside the box indeed. And I have to give Phil credit with this. He has thought outside the box this season. He's been trying a lot of things. I know at Regionals he tried a Gengar variant that had Sludge Wave, which was fantastic. But yeah, it was really good to see. Really good. It got a lot of people off guard. Wasn't afraid of taking a little bit of damage on his partner's end, because obviously Sludge Wave hits all Pokemon, but he had a good result from it. And
the other interesting one he ran was he was running a Staraptor even earlier in the season. Yeah,
Staraptor. Was it Final Gambit he had?
Final Gambit, yeah, so it's another interesting. He certainly, I mean, look at his Worlds team last year. He took Mega Camerupt to Worlds and did alright with it. So
Mega Camerupt, but he also had an answer to Trick Room, but had Tailwind as well. It was fantastic. Really loved the team. But anyway, we're going to kick things off with game 2. We fill up with the first game. We see the Xerneas and Scrafty lead, which is the same leads for Phil, and we see the Thunderous and Cresselia lead here. So similar leads here, and you know, I'm just curious as to if Zarif's going to take anything from game 1. Is he going to play a little bit smarter with his Cresselia, ultimately potentially setting up that Trick Room and seeing how it goes with that?
I think he's certainly in a better position to set up that Trick Room. At the same time, though, it'll be interesting if he sets up the Trick Room and tries to cripple the Xerneas with paralysis. That's just you know,
going to start.
It's robbing. You know, he's just 6 of one, half dozen of the other. He doesn't really accomplish anything. So we see going for the fake out into the Thunderous there. I wouldn't be surprised to see it attack. No, I take that back. He's
he's going offensive again. He's going straight for that Geomancy.
I think it's actually interesting. He's sort of baiting the Thunderous, because he's sort of baiting Zarif. He knows Zarif cannot both paralyze the Xerneas and Trick Room. So he's got him. Again, he's forcing Zarif to make a choice. Yeah, most definitely.
So we see the Icy Wind coming out from Cresselia here, which would indicate probably not a Trick Room team, but he is getting the speed control here. So interesting to note that there. Yeah, so from this stage, we could very likely see that knockoff again come off the Scrafty straight into that Cresselia slot. we could see Xerneas go just, straight for that Dazzling Gleam. But right now, it decides to protect. He thinks that's the best play for it. We do see the Thunder Wave, and very smartly so, protects his Xerneas. And we do see the skill swap. So we've got Levitate, switch with Intimidate. So now he does get that Intimidate off with his Crafty, which is really interesting, and I think quite an interesting play.
Certainly, I mean, he's doing it to reduce the damage from the knockoff.
Yep.
We saw that the Moonblast and the knockoff is definitely would definitely remove the Cresselia. So he thinks Cresselia. Zarif thinks Cresselia still has a big role to play here. We have seen the Icy Wind. He believes that's his best way to do the speed control. We see the quick guard from the Scrafty though. Did not see that coming.
And well done. Well done. He predicted that very well. It does protect from that Thunder Wave. And then it goes for the Moonblast, and that's a KO on that Cresselia. It did do the crit. Not sure if that mattered though. It would be
interesting to calculate that one. But
yeah.
That was a flawless and brilliant play from Phil. And now he's got Zarif running scared. He has Zarif running scared. His Thunderous is no longer a check or an out to Xerneas.
Yep, most definitely. So we see Zarif bringing his Groudon here. It's going to be interesting to see what he opts to do with that though, because right now Xerneas has only got 1 speed drop here, and he still has 1 speed boost, but he would be still the fastest on the field. Obviously Thunderous with his Prankster would get the priority, but at this stage, when it comes to attacks, it will be that Xerneas that will be attacking first. So, it could, as I said, could opt for that Moonblast again, just going for the direct damage. So, the Scrafty is going for that Quick Guard again. So, he feels like he's going to go trying for that Thunder Wave, and rightfully so again. He goes for the single Moonblast.
He's trying into the Groudon, though. I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to remove... I don't know, what have gone? Personally speaking, I would have gone for the Thunderous. If you remove the Thunderous, I would agree. That would, if Phil has Salamence in the back, that removes one of the biggest checks to his Salamence, while at the same time allowing him to easily check Groudon. So, certainly interesting. But on the... Oh, no, I take that. I understand now. He's going for the Groudon. If he removes the Groudon, then it's unlikely Thunderous can touch Phil's own Groudon.
Right, okay, yeah.
So he's not looking... He's not aiming for Salamence to be the end game. He's aiming for Groudon to be the end game.
Sure. So we see another Quick Guard from Scrafty. Still trying to go for that Thunder Wave.
And we now see the Dazzling Gleam here, which should pick up the knockout on the Thunderous.
Interesting to note that he's tried to go for that Thunder Wave so many times, and Phil has basically shut him down every single one of those times.
It's interesting. It's a level play. If he gets, Phil, it's one of those things. Who knows what he knows, what the other person knows. So
most definitely.
It's like, Zarif knows Phil has the Quick Guard. Phil knows Zarif knows Phil has the Quick. I know this sounds confusing, people. It basically comes down to if Phil over predicts and doesn't Quick Guard, then Zarif could try and sneak in the Thunder Wave here.
Yep.
And he basically really had nothing else to really go for. So it was.
Yeah.
But it was a desperate ploy. And
it was probably the only viable one, though.
Yeah, and Phil really had no reason not to go for the Quick Guard either.
100%. So, still waiting for a decision. Okay, so Phil has decided he wants his Scrafty back. And he's going to go into Amoonguss. And the Salamence on the opposing side for Zarif is going to Mega Revolve here. Probably going to be seeing some form of an attack from the Salamence. Wants to protect that Xerneas, just doesn't feel right attacking with it. We do see the Tailwinds come through.
That was interesting. Oh, that was...
So that
was a good call from Zarif there.
Bit of a risky play, but it definitely did pay off.
Paid off. At the same time, though, Phil has redirection on the field. So if he can remove... If he can remove the Groudon or the Salamence, either or, he's still in a good position. Actually, no, that's not good. That's not good for Phil if he's got his own Groudon in the back, so he really needs to focus on removing one of those Pokemon.
Most definitely. So we see the Rage Powder is going to be taking effect here. Salamence is going for the Hyper Voice, so that does do the attack. Oh, does a lot to Amoonguss. We see the Dazzling Gleam in return, which is probably going to be taking out that Salamence. Yep, and it does bring that Groudon down to a minuscule amount. And we see the Priceable Blades come through.
Oh,
Xerneas avoided the attack. Oh.
That I think has
sealed his fate.
I think it has sealed his fate. It would have been interesting to see what Phil has his Scrafty in the back, but he also has. Interesting to see what his last one was, whether it was the Salamence or the Groudon.
Yeah,
could have been interesting, but with the Intimidate on Zarif's Groudon, that Precipice Blade would not be able to one-hit KO Phil's own Groudon. So Phil has, as much as I believe not attacking in allowing Zarif to get the Tailwind up was a mistake, Phil has still played fairly well. He still played to his win conditions. He didn't throw the game away, but it was still a bit of a nervous moment for Phil there with that Tailwind going up.
It was. I felt